Hello everyone, Alistair Gold here. You're going to have to bear with me. I have no idea what time zone my head is in right now. If you're not aware, I was crazy enough to try to experience what Tottenham Hotspur, I can't even say the name, I'm that tired, trying to experience what Tottenham Hotspur have experienced in the past few days in heading to Melbourne. 48 hours in the air, round trip for about 50, 60 hours on the ground. For Spurs, I think it was 36 hours on the ground. I don't know how they played a match of football. It's messed with my mind. I did a piece, like a newsletter feature this week from Melbourne. And in it, I spoke about the different ways, and I got to see both of them again in Melbourne, of the different ways that Sonny is idolised and how Ange is treated by the Australians. And it's really fascinating. It's Sonny, obviously, by the Koreans. Everyone loves Sonny, but obviously the Koreans have got this very, very special place in their heart for him. And there was a lot of Korean fans there because for them it's 4 hours less, 4 fewer hours to get to Melbourne than it is to the UK. So there was a healthy contingent of Korean fans. And I just loved seeing the different ways. So with Sonny, it is very respectful, kind of like worship, idolization. You know, this guy is their hero, and rightly so. He's a terrific human being as well as a fantastic player. And it's wonderful to watch. You know, we see them, the Korean fans, queuing up outside Hotspur Way now. Spurs seem to be allowing that. There was a phase where they stopped that, and there was a lot of Korean fans would kind of almost go round to nearby lay-bys and hope that Sonny would stop on the little country road to get back round to the A10. And he pretty much always did, because he respects how far they've come to see him. And he's grateful, I think, for that support. I know he is. With Ange and the Australians, it's almost like a different thing. It's a pride. I mean, I know there's pride with Koreans and Sonny, but with the Australian aspect, it's like with Ange, it's like he's one of us. He's one of us, and he has battled through everything to rise to the top. He's not kind of held on a platform above. It's almost like, go on, mate, well done to you, kind of thing. Because his story it's a bit of a fairy tale one. It is. This is a young boy, 5 years old, an immigrant, came across from Greece with his family. Real tough times early on as they were trying to kind of, his dad, Jim, worked so hard. His mum looked after the family. They encountered lots of kind of prejudices as well when they first came over. And he's risen through, battled through. His career has been about kind of against prejudices again throughout his career. And he's battled to each level. And here he is coming back to his hometown as the top man, the head coach, the manager, whatever you want to call him, of one of the biggest teams in the world. We joke about Tottenham Hotspur, of course we do, when they make us crazy, but they are one of the biggest teams in the world. They're a Premier League side, and they were one of the big boys. They finished fifth, regardless of the way they stuttered and stumbled towards the finish line this season. They finished fifth this season. So they are one of the big boys in world football. They don't always reflect that, but they are. Sonny was good fun. There was a little moment where I asked Sonny a couple of questions because no one had asked him one. I was like, well, I really want to ask him stuff. So I asked him about where he sees himself playing in the future, whether it will remain on the left, whether he'll move into a central striker role, and obviously very humble and modest Sonny just essentially said, well, wherever he needs me, wherever the gaffer plays me, he'll play. If he wants to play me in goal, I will be the goalkeeper of Tottenham. And I feel like he's done this before with someone. But he was in the background going, no, as if saying, you're not playing in goal. And everyone's laughing. Sonny didn't know why we were laughing, and he looks around and he cracked up. And it was quite a good atmosphere, actually, despite the fact that you could see they were both absolutely knackered and just grabbed probably any bits of sleep they could on the plane. I asked him, what was the first question I asked him? I can't remember where I started now. I asked about Romero and Højbjerg. Romero, it was family issues. I meant he had to fly back to Argentina, and Højbjerg was he had an injury, a little minor injury going into the final game at Sheffield United, and kind of aggravated it and felt sore after the game. So, yeah, look, I'm not questioning Ange Postecoglou's integrity in any way. If you want to do that, you crack on, but I am not. If that's what he said the cases are, that is what they are in my mind. The other question I asked him was about Daniel Levy and when he was going to kind of sit down, whether he was going to stay out in Australia or whether he was going to go straight back to UK and sit down and discuss transfers and all of that sort of stuff with Levy, Langer, as I think I said in the last video. Johan Langer is what I've told it was how it's meant to be pronounced, by one of his friends actually. And Rob McKenzie, Chief Scout. Not he told me. Rob McKenzie is one of the people that would probably be in the meeting. So I asked him about that, and he had a little bit of a joke. He was like, "There's secret plans, Ali, that I can't reveal right now." And then he went, "Yeah, the plan is to stay for a few days and catch up with some mates here. Then I'll head back, spend some time with the family, but yeah, I'll keep working away." Just like, has to have a little bit of fun at the start. And it was, yeah, the players were knackered. Poor Sonny. There was a little moment towards the end of that presser when the local journalists were trying to get him, and this is just standard questioning. This is what happens in all these kind of press conferences around the world when big Premier League players come to town. It's essentially, would you like, are you going to walk around town? Are you going to get to see around town? You look at the sites. Have you been anywhere? And like Sonny was just asking, he was like, "I just arrived." You could just see he was like, "Please leave me alone." And then they said to him, like, "Are you going to do that? Are you going to do it? What would you do if you could stay here?" And he was like, you can see him thinking, like, "How do I answer this? We've got so little time to kind of talk to anyone or do anything." And he said, "I would love to meet up with my mate, Tolgay Arslan, who he played with back in his Hamburger days. I'm always told you're supposed to say hamburger rather than Hamburg, like the city, but it just sounds like you're talking about burgers." Because Arslan now plays in Melbourne. He was actually interesting. Well, I'll tell you this in a minute because it fits in with what I'm saying anyway. So he was saying Arslan wanted to meet up with him, but he said it would be good to see my friend again here, but this is the last game of the season, and I want to go home as well as soon as possible after we finish the game. And I think a little bit of him realised, oh no, I'm kind of saying I just want to leave here as soon as possible. So he quickly added on, "Oh, but any chance to see around would be good." But they weren't. They didn't have any chance to kind of go around.